welcome to Hashtag Networking Series with Julie. This series is a series where I interview students and professionals from different backgrounds just to learn about their career trajectory and also academic journey. Today, I had the pleasure of interviewing Daysha Patalot. We've met each other during the Starting Point Mentorship Program at UC Berkeley, where we were both mentors. And now she works as a teacher at Eastside College Preparatory High School as a mathematics faculty member. In addition to that, she recently launched her consulting/tutoring focused on academics as well as tutoring services.
Thank you, Julie. Hi everyone, my name is Daysha Patalot, and I'm really excited to share my journey on how I became an educator, advisor, and business owner. I first want to thank Julie for her time and commitment to the Hashtag Networking series. I think it's great, and it's truly an honor to be here with you all today. A little bit about myself. I am a Bay Area native, taking California with me wherever I go. And I really enjoy watching Bay Area sports teams when I'm not in the classroom. So valuing where I'm from and my interest in volleyball, I chose to attend De Anza College for 2 years where I would continue playing. And I was a part of great programs there that helped me transfer to UC Berkeley, which is where I met Julie. And at Berkeley, I studied sociology and data science and was a part of some really great organizations such as the Starting Point Mentorship Program that Julie mentioned, where we worked with prospective transfer applicants, and also I was involved with the Cub Support Organization at Berkeley, and that's where I tutored low-income students in the East Bay Area. And those two experiences really sparked my interest in education, and so I applied to various graduate programs across the country, and I'm happy to have ended up at Brown's master's program where I focused in math education. At Brown, I was able to work on my teaching methods, and after I also worked with prospective Brown applicants. And before transitioning to my job here at Eastside, I've spent my summer at Brown as the Brown Summer High School principal, where I overlooked the incoming cohort and over 150 Rhode Island high school students. And so I really hit the jackpot with my first school here at Eastside College Preparatory. I get to teach and advise first-generation college students, and I believe that I'm making a big impact here along with the other Eastside faculty. So growing up, I was blessed with the resources to really thrive academically and feel confident applying to colleges. And so that really motivated me to start my own business as well, called Ivy Plus Prep, where I provide academic tutoring and college app consulting for high schoolers and 7th and 8th graders to reach their full potential and achieve their academic goals. So I'm really excited to discuss this further with you all.
You can follow Daysha's business Instagram page at Ivy Plus Prep, where you'll be able to access to a link to fill out a free Zoom consultation. Thank you so much for listening in, and the interview will be on the next clip. Daysha, tell me about your background and how did it lead you to pursue higher education?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I'm from the Bay Area, and going to private schools here in the Bay, I've learned that it is very competitive. And so that mindset of the expectation of attending a good four-year college was always there and present in our culture. But I was really happy to attend De Anza so that I was able to keep playing volleyball and eventually transfer to Berkeley. And going through those experiences, I just had a lot of help from people, which is why I wanted to pursue higher education and learn how I can help others achieve their academic and life goals as well.
So describe your transfer experience and what made you choose UC Berkeley.
Yeah, so thankfully at De Anza, I was very well supported. Both with the transfer counselors there and the athletic counselors. We checked in very early to see what goals we had and where we wanted to transfer to. And I saw that De Anza had a really good transfer rate to UC Berkeley, which was the #1 school that I wanted to get into. So making sure that I was on track with my classes and extracurriculars as well. I helped found our Student Athlete Advisory Council at De Anza, which is basically like a student government for athletes as well. So taking those experiences with me and those leadership skills at Berkeley I thought was important. And I ultimately chose Berkeley because it's not too far from home, again, representing the Bay Area. The sociology program there is great, and I was able to be mentored with the Starting Point mentorship program as well. And so I saw an insight of what it's like to be a transfer student at Berkeley and thought that it was pretty perfect. And so it worked out well.
Yeah. Really great work that you do in the Starting Point mentorship program. And can you describe more about how you stayed on top of your, let's say, goals during community college?
Yeah, so again, thankfully I had a lot of help with that, but always just reminding myself of the places that I want to be at, and that time was Berkeley. And so thinking about what a Berkeley student would be doing, even though I was at De Anza, so being able to push myself, staying organized again with my calendar, and making sure that my priorities were on track and I was able to get things done on time, if not before.
How did community college help you to prepare for the academic rigor at UC Berkeley?
My professors at De Anza were definitely, they had high expectations for us and didn't just let us get away with getting work done just to do it. We were able to also engage in a lot of meaningful conversations, which is a lot of how, at least in the sociology department, that was how a lot of the classes were structured at Berkeley. Another thing that the professors encouraged me to do at De Anza was attend office hours, which is not necessarily a skill that a lot of students take advantage of going into college. And so having that constant encouragement to ask for help when I need it definitely transferred into my experience at Berkeley to help me succeed and get used to the academic rigor there.
Yes, I agree with you about going to office hours, because I think office hours is such a great opportunity to know your professors, like beyond the classroom, but it's also a good like networking skill for you to build, so you can transfer to like a big school like Berkeley, for example, where you probably taking a class with 200 plus students. You don't want to be a number to them. So I think that attending office hours in community college or at a 4U university level, it's gonna help you so much more in your people skills, as well as following up skills and developing that relationship so they can possibly recommend you for a job or a letter of recommendation. What made you decide to pursue grad school?
I've always had this goal of being a lifelong learner. I know this doesn't necessarily hold true for everyone, but for me, school and learning are two things that I definitely value in life. And so I felt like my learning was not yet done after my time at Berkeley. And so I was able to explore different programs and subjects that I wanted to potentially study as a master's student. And I came across math education while doing research for the Getting into Grad School program at Berkeley. And that really helped me narrow down where I wanted to apply.
That's nice. Can you tell me more about the Getting into Grad School program offered by UC Berkeley?
Yeah, so it's a really great program. If you're at Berkeley, you're essentially paired with a current, at the time, grad student at Berkeley who has gone through the grad school application process, and they help mentor you starting from day one, thinking about things like, what should I be researching for schools that I want to attend? What does the timeline look like? What should I be focusing on in my essays? That help from mentors and workshops really helped form a strong application.
How was the application process like for you for grad school, and why did you choose to attend Brown University?
The grad school application process is actually a lot different than the undergrad application process, because as an undergrad you can not necessarily know what you want to study yet, which is great, but the graduate programs are a lot more focused on specific things, and so really knowing what you want to do before committing your time to a program, I think, is important. And so I knew I wanted to go into education, and so from the schools that I ended up applying to and got into, I visited everywhere, and I thought that Brown was just the best fit for me. It's a very diverse liberal school, and I think the program's mission there is very student-centered learning and non-traditional, and so those were a couple of things that drew me to the program as opposed to some other ones. And when I visited, I was thankfully able to sit in on a couple of classes and explore the area, and I felt like I truly belonged at Brown. And it was a very fast year, but it couldn't have been any better.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how do you compare the different learning styles or different learning structure, what you've experienced undergrad at Berkeley versus what you experienced in the classroom at Brown University?
Yes. So specifically for the more STEM classes that I took at Berkeley, they can be very big, and so they didn't feel super personal. And that was also very teacher-centered in that it was pretty lecture-based, and then you did your projects and your homework and turned it in. So there wasn't much student-teacher interaction unless you took the initiative to attend office hours. Whereas my program at Brown, our cohort was 22 people. And so it was very personal. We were able to get to know each other even if we were concentrating in different subjects. But even with our classes, they were much more discussion-based, get up, move around the classroom, a lot more dynamic. And so thankfully I take how I learned at Brown into the classroom with how I teach my current students. So really thinking about how that affects them in the classroom as well are just some things that I consider. But yeah, it's been great working with my first gen students. They're very motivated to make themselves and their families proud, and that just inspires me to be a better teacher for them as well.
Yeah, that's great. Your role as an educator is so vital to the classroom, encouraging first gen and low income students. Yeah, they're dealing outside the classroom that you don't know that may affect their how they do well in school, but I think that your role as a teacher is so impactful, and just making sure that these students recognize their potential no matter what kind of background they came from.
Exactly.
Within the topic of working with first gen and low income students, what kind of support do you think that these students need compared to their peers who went to college?
It's definitely easier said than done, I think. But really believing in yourself and your own potential, and that's part of the reason why I'm here, is to really be, in addition to a teacher, just their cheerleader too, letting them know that they can do whatever they set their minds to. So kind of getting over the initial hurdle, which is themselves, of thinking, oh, can't I? But yeah, so the mindset is a huge thing, having a growth mindset. But also being able to reach out to the resources that may or may not even be available to you. So by that, I mean high school counselors that are happy to help you, but if that might not seem like a helpful option, I know that there are multiple colleges that have first generation student resources. So potentially even reaching out to the colleges that you're interested in applying to, showing that initiative that you're ready to take it to the next level with your education. So reaching out to those schools for help too, and maybe students who were first gen students that attended those schools, just trying to get as many people on your side of the court as you can to help you with a big transition.
Yeah, I agree. I totally could see the insight of reaching out and taking that extra step, because I think that a lot of first gen and low income students, they don't have people within their immediate family or connections that they could easily talk to, or someone they could talk to about questions regarding to colleges. But if they take that initiative, that extra step, other people can see that they're making that effort to reach out. And just there's many programs out there who supports first gen and low income students. The question I'm looking forward to, you recently started your business, Ivy Plus Prep. Can you explain more about it, and what's the story behind it?
Yeah, so let's start with the name. Ivy Plus just pays homage to my background at Brown and Berkeley, so awesome schools. So hopefully that name in and of itself motivates students by working with me that they can achieve their goals and attend great schools. So I think that I'm making a really big impact here with the first-gen students at Eastside College Prep. But really what motivated me to start this business as well is to reach a wider demographic as well and just help students all throughout the Bay Area and even the country. I've reached out to people back in Rhode Island as well. But just really meeting students where they are, wherever that might be, and helping them get to where they want to be and reach their full potential. So this is achieved through one-on-one coaching and goal setting and reflection, and look forward to doing every day.
Yeah, that's great you're doing these kind of like consulting services, because I think that there's just so much time and energy involved in applying to colleges, whether it may be undergrad or grad school. But you know, a services that you offer is going to benefit a lot of students, because kind of like developing that guide and like that roadmap to reach the end goal of, you know, finishing the application process. And
Yes.
There's a lot of reflection you have to do, crafting the storyline, especially with the PIQ with the UCs where
Yes.
there's a word limit on each one's. So I think that having an effective coach or someone can guide you throughout this process is going to be very beneficial.
Yeah, and again, just being their cheerleader, right? They need
Yes.
someone in their corner, and I'm happy to be that person rooting for them until they reach the finish line, like you said.
Yes, absolutely. How's your post-grad transition has been like?
I've been in school since kindergarten, so I went from kindergarten all the way through my master's. So honestly, being a student is all I've known for the past 20 years. So it's definitely been a transition, but at this school, I feel very supported with veteran teachers who love what they're doing and are very passionate about working with first-gen students. And so just being in love with my work environment and having that supportive staff has made my transition a bit easier. Not to say that it's seamless, but it's definitely a great first place to be at in terms of work.
That's great. And what are the things that you've been learning since post-grad?
I think just working with high schoolers, it's a little funny to look back and just what they think is important right now and being stressed about a certain grade. Like as an adult now, even though I am an educator, I know that there are so many other things that define people, not just their grades. And so I think a big part of that is relationships and the skills that you build outside of the classroom too. So now being an adult in the working force, I've appreciated those skills and those networking skills in addition to the academic abilities that were built for the past from K through Masters.
Thank you everyone so much for watching our #networking series featuring Daysha today. I had a great conversation talking about college as well as working with first-gen and low-income students, and which brought great insights to our educational space here. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you subscribe and follow for more interviews. Daysha, do you have some time to answer fun questions right now?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, how do you manage work and life balance?
Something that I do to manage my work-life balance is trying to get all my work done here. So what happens at work stays at work. It's really nice at Eastside. We have extra periods called tutorials where I can help students but also get my work done. So definitely being also proactive about how I'm going to spend my time. Using a Google Calendar is helping with my organization. But yeah, getting all my work done here so that I'm able to relax at home is something that I try to do to balance my work life.
What do you like to do during your free time?
During my free time, I'm a big Bay Area sports fan, so I enjoy watching the Giants and the Warriors and being active myself. And I also really like watching Jeopardy with my family.
What's your favorite spirit animal?
Right now, I'd say my spirit animal is a monkey because they are active and also very silly.
And what's a food spot that you recommend in the South Bay?
Ooh, there's so many good food spots here in the Bay Area. One of my favorites right now, it's called Sweet Sicily in downtown Sunnyvale on Murphy Avenue. I definitely check that one out.